Hi, it's 1010 the Navigator. This is the Anunnaki Final Warning to Earth and Their Return in 2022, the 5th edition by Maximillian de Lafayette. And we ended on page 87. We're going to start on page 87. The final stage. When the beam's effects wore off, some resumed their doomed attempts to fight. And at this point, the Anunnaki started the final stage. Let me see the final stage, I said. From the bottom of the spaceships, a special substance was diffused, and it landed in huge swirling streams. It was a black liquid mixed with light and electricity, and some strange sparkling particles, which I was sure was a form of energy or radiation. It smells like fire and brimstone, but strangely, it is cold to the touch, yet it burns everything that touches it. This is a tool of annihilation, a tool that no one can fight, said the council. I looked on without comment. The substance slithered inexorably over the ground, the buildings, and the stranded cars like icy cold lava waves. It swept away many people, killing them instantly. Once it covered a large area, it began to coagulate. And as it did so, it expanded and rose up foot by foot until it reached the height of an 8-story building. Slowly, it seemed to harden, solidifying itself into steel-like state. Huge stacks of smoke rose up into the sky. Cars melted, buildings collapsed, and fires started everywhere, seeming not only by the touch of the substance, but spontaneously when the wind carries the particles of energy into flammable materials. The combination of images and sounds was that of chaos, pain, confusion, and death. I imagined that the fire and brimstone smell had now mixed with all of burning flesh and of melting metal, plastic, and rubber. Then all of a sudden, the substance stopped growing and assumed the appearance of craggy mountains with sharp edges and canyons. A very few who had survived but had nowhere to go now tried to climb on the substance, since the earth itself was buried in it. This was futile, since the substance was too slippery for the climb. They started to fall and slip and were instantly killed. These conditions will continue over the entire world for 2 days. No one will be left alive on the scorched earth, said the council. I remained silent. Let us move to the scene into the 4th day, said the council. You see, at that point, which must have been the 3rd day, all the spaceships left. And in 24 hours, the substance and all that it consumed turned into dust. The earth became ready for the vast cleansing. Other spaceships appear on the screen of completely different appearance. The new ones were not to be circular like the others, but crescent-shaped and of pleasant colors, nothing frightening about them. They activated the huge vacuum system, and the enormous cloud of black dust came up in swirling, filthy streams. It did not take long. In a few minutes, the whole cloud was sucked into the machines, and the earth was ready for new life. With so much death and destruction, a small part of me wanted to pray for the souls of the ones who were killed. Something in my head wanted to turn to God. Then I laughed. If our kind of paternal God had existed, he could and would not have allowed humans to be so cruel, so horrible, as a need for such a massive cleansing. I was beginning to grasp the nature of all that is, the concept of a creative God that encompassed everything and learned from it voraciously. He, she, or it would not have mercy on our souls. I bowed my head and raised it and looked at the council. I see the need, I said. I would like to request one more trip, one more attempt to convince the officials about this cleansing. Let them warn the earth. If I fail, my blessing goes with your cleansing. The evil must be removed. We are proud of you, Sinhar Anbaranati, said Sinhar Inanna Shamara verbally. High Council, I have told you that years ago. She is a true Anunnaki. Indeed she is, Sinhar Inanna Shamara. Indeed she is, and she has our permission to go for the final attempt, said the council. We shall have a plan soon, and they bowed and left. As usual, Sinhar Anana Shamara stayed with me, and we walked home together. So the DNA and the earth will be cleansed, I said. The contaminated DNA will be removed. So far, so good. But what is going to happen afterwards? I imagine the world will be considerably changed. You won't recognize it at all. You won't be able to recognize it, said Sinhar Inanna Shamara. It will be vastly improved, believe me. The final thing to disappear is the root of all evil, money. Really? Money will no longer exist? Think about it, Victoria. Would the Anunnaki support any of humanity's greed-infested systems? The most profound change will be the abolition of money in every system that is attached to money. People will work in their chosen professions, or a new profession that they will adopt and produce or serve as usual. But how will they survive? How will they get food, lodging, and clothes? And in other words, if they don't have money, how will they be paid? They will not be paid, but they will have everything that they need, just like we do on Nibiru. Everyone will have a comfortable home designed to his or her taste, good food for them and their pets, beautiful clothes, nice jewelry, cosmetics, diapers for babies, toys, hobby supplies, etc. will always be available in huge cooperatives that look like excellent supermarkets, open day and night so no one will ever lack for anything. What everyone considers luxury items will also be available. The Anunnaki have no desire to have humans live in austerity. Humans will always have books, TV, radio, home movies, classic films, etc. They can go to the theater, the ballet, the symphony orchestra, chamber music performances, movie theaters, and always for free. The only thing the Anunnaki will deprive humans of is access. There will be no need for hoarding, since everything will always be available, and no one will be able to be richer than their neighbors. Equality will be established and appreciated by those who are not contaminated by greed and the meanness of the Greys. So what about places like Fort Knox? No need for such places anymore. Fort Knox is going to be destroyed, and the gold used for ornamental purposes. That is the only reason people will value gold now, its beauty. A lovely artist or a good artist can create some pretty good pieces from such a lovely substance, which will be widely available after the Great Change. The same will happen, incidentally, with diamonds and other gems. Their intrinsic value will disappear, so jewelry will only be appreciated for its intrinsic and delicate and elegant design, not for how many carats or stones it weighs. Because of that, there will be no need for the IRS, the Social Security system, and other such organizations. The elimination of the money system will cause many professions to disappear, such as accountants, bankers, tax preparers, security guards, and IRS employees. Any other changes? Of course. Money will not be the only victim. In a society that consists of good people, people who have no need or desire to commit any crime whatsoever, there will be no need for the legal system. All organizations pertaining to the law and law enforcement will disappear, including the Supreme Court. And of course, there will be no prisons. This will eliminate many professions as well, such as lawyers, judges, court clerks, prison officials, police officers, and guards. You know, Sinhar, Inanna Shamara, this sounds like a lovely place to live in. Built in the image of Nibiru, of course. All governments will be abolished. No elected officials, no presidents, no kings. People who are good do not need anyone telling them how to live. They do it instinctively. This will eliminate thousands of positions such as presidents, kings, governors, mayors, all government employees, social workers, and child protection agencies. And don't forget that since the Anunnaki technology is going to keep humans healthy, there will be no need for hospitals or clinics other than those devoted to childbirth, and much of the work there will be done without the need for people. In addition, there will not be any incidents of insanity or mania or depression. This will eliminate the positions of most doctors and nurses and of additional employees such as hospital administration, hospital billing, psychiatrists, psychologists, and hospital janitors, to name a few. So no one will be sick. What a world, I said. I can imagine that humans will no longer have the need for cars and airplanes, right? Indeed, there will be advanced technology that will allow for much more efficient forms of transportation and the use of clean and efficient energy. And in the process, we will eliminate the need for any fossil fuels. This will remove more professions from the list, such as gas stations, agencies supplying us with electricity and gas, car manufacturers, airplane manufacturers, and highway builders. It will be hard to adjust to such living. I'm not sure about that. Remember, the only people remaining are not contaminated. They don't need or want wealth, really preferring to be happy, creative, comfortable, and spiritually fulfilled. There will be even more changes. Some miscellaneous professions will not remain, since they will no longer be appreciated or needed. For example, the fashion industry, with its cruel attempts to make women into slaves of someone else's ideas of beauty, will entirely disappear. Beautiful clothing will be created by individual designers or by anyone who likes to indulge in it as a creative hobby. Advertising, of course, will vanish as well. So no one will need runway models, beauty contestant organizers, manicurists, cosmetologists, or advertising commercial actors and voiceover artists. So what will happen to the clean people who worked in these professions? I asked, envisioning a mass of unemployed, confused people. Nothing to be alarmed about. Those who will lose their professions will be trained for another profession, always entirely of their own choice, that will give them pleasure and pride to pursue. Even those who have not lost their profession but who feel the need to change will be encouraged to pursue a career change. As a matter of fact, since the life expectancy of each and every person will be greatly increased, it is expected that many people will have numerous career changes as time goes by. Lifelong study is always encouraged by the Anunnaki, who consider the acquisition of knowledge the most enjoyable thing a person can do. From what you say, many professions that are very well respected today, mostly because they are highly paid, will disappear. I wonder if such individuals will be able to adjust. They usually do. Remember, many professions will change in the way that they were perceived or are perceived. For example, the teaching profession for both children and adults will become the most highly respected profession in the world. Librarians will be very highly regarded. Gardeners will be of great importance. Historians and writers will be greatly valued. But of course, in the world that judges a person by what he or she is, not by how much money she has accumulated or they have accumulated, every profession will be appreciated for its usefulness to the entire community. So I think the great majority of people will be pleased with our changes. Only the survivors. True, said Sinhar Inanna Shamara casually. The population will be greatly decreased, of course. We entered my home in silence, and I materialized some coffee and fruit for us in a dream state. I found it hard to believe that I, of all people, had contributed one of the major reasons to the end of the world as we know it. I always used to think I would be accomplished by fanatics or by government that supported nuclear explosions. Well, one lives and learns. And this is the end of this particular chapter. So it was pages 87 to 93.